Imagine holding your newborn for the first time. Everyone tells you that this is supposed to be the happiest moment of your life. And in some ways, it truly is. You're flooded with love, awe, and a sense of wonder you didn't know you could feel. But let's be real, somewhere between the night feeds, the leaking milk, the 10th diaper change, something shifts. A fog creeps in. You start to feel sad for no reason, or angry at everyone, or terrified that something bad will happen. And then the guilt hits. What's wrong with me? Why can't I just be happy? Welcome back to the Parenthood and Relationship Podcast, where we don't sugarcoat the human side of parenting. Over here, we talk about the real stuff, the joy, the grief, and the messy in-between that people just don't say out loud. Today, we're diving into a topic that too many mothers suffer through in silence: postpartum mental health, depression, anxiety, rage, intrusive thoughts, those things that we often hide behind a smile. Hi there! If this is your first time here, welcome to the Parenthood and Relationship Podcast. I'm your host, Markella Kaplani, a psychologist, a parenthood and relationship coach, and a parent myself. Together, we explore the transformative journey of parenthood and its profound impact on our relationship with ourselves, our partners, and our children, so that we can be present and show up as we envision without having to do more. Let's get into today's episode. Research tells us that 1 in 7 women experience postpartum depression, and at least 1 in 5 experience postpartum anxiety. That's millions of mothers worldwide. And that is just what is reported. But these numbers don't tell the whole story. They don't capture the mothers staring at the wall at 3 a.m. wondering who they've become, or the ones snapping at their partners and then drowning in guilt. They don't show the ones who smile for the baby photos but cry in the shower. If any of this sounds familiar, I want this episode to be a soft place for you to land. A space where compassion replaces shame, and where we remember that sometimes survival is love in action. Let's start with a bit of grounding, because naming what we're going through gives it form. And when something has form, it can be met with compassion. Postpartum depression is not just hormones. It is a depressive episode that can show up anytime after childbirth. It can look like sadness, emptiness, guilt, loss of interest in the things that you used to love, even thoughts of not wanting to exist. And while it affects about 1 in 7 mothers, the true number is almost certainly higher because many never say a word. Postpartum anxiety is another invisible storm. Around 1 in 5 women experience it, sometimes with racing thoughts, panic attacks, dizziness, heart palpitations, or an endless sense that something terrible is about to happen. And then there's postpartum rage. Not yet a formal diagnosis, but very real. It's that explosive anger that catches you off guard. Maybe you shout, throw something, or feel this heat rise inside that scares you. You think, who am I right now? This rage often comes from exhaustion, hormonal crashes, and unmet needs. If you want to hear more about this and a true account of what it looks like, go ahead and listen to episode 42, where I talk with Sammy Garrett. She opened up so beautifully about her experience with mom rage. She offers great tips, and most of all, a lot of compassion. I highly recommend that you listen to it. Getting back to today's episode, let's just say that postpartum mental health issues are the number 1 complication of childbirth. Not tearing, not infections, mental health. Yet so many mothers still whisper about it as if pain disqualifies them from being good moms. And it's important to separate these conditions from the so-called baby blues, which affect up to 80% of mothers in the first 2 weeks. The blues fade as hormones settle. Postpartum depression, anxiety, or rage don't. They last longer, cut deeper, and they make daily life feel impossible. Basically, they lead to some form of dysfunction. At the more severe end is postpartum psychosis, which is rare, but very serious, and it involves hallucinations or delusions and always requires urgent help. And then there's also postpartum OCD, where there are intrusive, distressing thoughts that can loop endlessly. These conditions can appear anytime in the first year, even months after childbirth, during weaning, or when one is returning to work. And let's not forget, partners can experience them too. Mental health after birth is not just about hormones. It is about identity, pressure, and the human nervous system that is under such intense strain. Let me introduce to you Helen, who is a made-up character drawing from the stories of several mothers that I've seen in the past. She had a smooth pregnancy, a supportive partner, and everyone said she would be such a natural. But a few weeks in, she felt flat. She looked at her baby and felt nothing. Then came the panic, checking the baby's breathing every 5 minutes, snapping at her husband. She told me, "I think I'm broken." But she wasn't. She was exhausted, terrified, and chemically unbalanced, all at once. Her husband, meanwhile, felt helpless. He tried to help, but every attempt made things worse. Does that ring any bells? Later, he told me that he felt depressed too, which makes sense because 1 in 10 fathers experience postpartum depression or anxiety as well. And then there's the case of Maria. True story, changed name to keep everything private. She looked radiant on Instagram. Hair done, baby in cute outfits, pictures every month. But then at 3 a.m., she would check the stove, the windows, the baby's chest again and again, unable to sleep. Her intrusive thoughts terrified her. What if I drop the baby? What if I hurt her? She wasn't in any danger. She was a mother in the grip of postpartum OCD. But shame kept her silence, and silence fed the fear. And how about Sophia? Her story is one that so many of us can relate to. Her partner forgot to buy the diapers, and she exploded. He doesn't care. He never listens. She threw the remote, and then she sobbed, shaking with guilt. She wasn't crazy. She was overwhelmed, felt undersupported, and drowning in invisible labor. What all of these stories share is isolation. Mothers hiding their pain because they're afraid to look ungrateful. Partners mistaking withdrawal for rejection. Society still selling us a version of motherhood that's soft focus and pastel, when the truth is it's blood, sweat, and hormones. When partners start seeing these reactions not as character flaws, but as symptoms of distress, healing becomes a shared mission instead of a silent battle. So why does this happen? Is it weakness? The simple answer is no. It's biology and culture colliding. After birth, a woman's estrogen levels and progesterone levels plummet. This is the biggest hormonal crash that we will ever experience. That alone can throw our entire nervous system into chaos. Add to that sleep deprivation, the kind that breaks down emotional regulation, and it's no wonder that small things can feel catastrophic. Then there's the mental load. Keeping track of feeding schedules and laundry, appointments, moods, and all the million tiny details that make the household run. One study from the University of Bath found that mothers do over 70% of the invisible tasks that keep families afloat. That is not just doing more. That is carrying the weight of everyone's needs in your head. And then how about we add the risk factors like a history of anxiety or depression, a traumatic birth, financial strain, or lack of support. And now you've got a perfect storm. But what often makes it worse is expectation. The myth of the perfect mother, serene, selfless, endlessly patient. We've inherited generations of silence around maternal pain. If your mother or grandmother swallowed her struggles, you probably have learned to do the same. You've probably learned that that is love. And if your partner grew up with a father who shut down emotionally, he might not know how to meet your vulnerability now. And then, of course, there's the social media highlight reel, the spotless nurseries, the back in jeans in 6 weeks posts. Comparing your raw, sleepless reality to this curated perfection is like comparing childbirth to a stock photo. It's not just unrealistic, it's cruel. Even larger systems play a role. Many mothers return to work far too soon because maternity leave policies are inadequate. Others lose their sense of identity when they stay home. Economic pressure and isolation both fuel mental health struggles. And remember, partners, adoptive parents, grandparents helping with newborns, they're all susceptible too. Parenthood shakes identity to its core, no matter your gender. So what can you actually do right now if any of this sounds like you? Number 1, name it. Normalize it. Say it out loud. I think I might be struggling. Words take away shame's oxygen. You're not weak. You're human, living through a seismic change. Number 2, reach out for professional support. Tools like the Edinburgh Postnatal Depression Scale can help you assess your symptoms. Therapies like CBT are effective for depression and anxiety. And if it's deemed more severe, medications can help too, safely, even for breastfeeding under guidance. Number 3, reset and share the load. This isn't a luxury, it's medicine. Trade night feeds, nap when you can, ask friends to bring food. You are not meant to do this alone. If your partner offers help and it's not the way that you would do it, let them do it anyway. Perfection does not raise babies. Connection does. Number 4, soothe your nervous system. When anxiety or rage hits, think small and physical. Take a 6-second hug. It releases oxytocin and literally calms your heart. Try box breathing. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. 4 seconds each. Splash cold water on your face or hold an ice cube. This can reset your body's alarm system. Journal or voice note your thoughts. Getting them out of your head reduces their power. Number 5, build your village. Find other parents who get it. Online, in groups, at your local cafe. Humans regulate through connection. Ask for help with meals, chores, or baby watching. You'll return the favor later. Number 6, bring your partner in. Most partners want to help. They just don't know how. Share this episode with them. Tell them what you need, not what you should be able to handle. Remember, 1 in 10 men also experience postpartum depression or anxiety. Compassion needs to go both ways. Number 7, create a postpartum plan. We plan for our births, so why not for our recovery? Decide who's helping, decide who's cooking, and who is checking in on you. Have the name of a therapist or a doula ready, handy before you need them. Number 8, protect your mental space. Unfollow accounts that make you feel less than. Reduce the noise. Your nervous system doesn't need more comparison. It needs rest and truth. 9, reconnect with your partner in micro moments. A shared laugh, a touch on the arm, a thank you for today. 2 minutes of gratitude before bed can shift the entire tone of your relationship. And finally, number 10, advocate. We cannot talk about maternal mental health without talking about the systems around it. Speak up for better parental leave, affordable childcare, and mental health access. Your story could be someone else's permission to seek help. Addressing maternal mental health isn't just about helping mothers. It is about strengthening families. When a mother's mental health improves, bonding improves, relationships stabilize, children thrive. Untreated postpartum depression and anxiety can impact child development and increase the risks of self-harm. But when mothers get timely care, children show better emotional and cognitive outcomes. Partners too benefit. Communication deepens, resentment lessens, and the family system heals as a whole. This isn't self-care fluff. This is survival, resilience, and legacy. Before we close, let's take a slow breath. Let it out. If you see yourself in anything that I said today, I want you to know that you're not alone. Your symptoms are not your identity. They are your system for asking for help. Reach out to your partner, to your doctor, to your friends, to your therapist, or even to me. Sometimes healing begins with a single brave conversation. And if that tiny voice inside you says you don't deserve help, please challenge it. You deserve support simply because you exist. Because you're a human who's given everything to love and keep another human alive. Next time, we'll talk about the father side of things. How men experience their own version of postpartum change, and how couples can find their way back to each other through it all. Until then, be gentle with yourself. You are doing so much better than you think. And remember, the goal isn't to bounce back. How I hate that phrasing. It is to move forward. If you have found this episode helpful, share it with a friend who might need it. And come and connect with me. You'll find me on Instagram at markella.kaplani. I love hearing your stories. They remind all of us that we're in this together. And don't forget to sign up to the Sunday Reconnect, my weekly newsletter where I share one insight, one exclusive tool, and one 3-minute reset related to each episode every single Sunday. For more resources, visit markellakaplani.com/resources. There you will find a mini course that I've done on matrescence, which goes deeper into all of what we discussed today. The identity shifts, the way that our roles are affected, how we show up at work, and even how our spirituality may be changed or challenged. You can get it at markellakaplani.com/resources or /video series. It's free, it's bite-sized, and remember that awareness is the cornerstone of change. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.